These movies always do that. Don't look this way, don't look that way. By doing don't look this way, that way, you're more conspicuous. If you're just hanging out in the park and talking to each other, just sat at a bench, you're better off. I'm John Alite, known in my neighborhood actually as Johnny Alite in the past. I was raised around the Mafia. I grew up around the Ruggiano family, Murder Inc. I started off as a kid running errands for George Gaddy and his brother that were Lucchese soldiers. And slowly I worked my way up as an enforcer and a hitman for the Gotti regime. I was around some really nice guys, but really famous Mafia guys as a kid. I mean, at about 3-4 years old, I was already in a boxing ring. And by the time I'm 16, George Gaddy asks me, can I collect some money for him? I go to baseball bat somebody for him as a young kid. That was my first experience of really hurting somebody that way. You know, as I kept moving forward, I became more and more aggressive. I started doing everything there was to do on the street, the whole gamut of crimes. I wanted to make money. I wanted to make a mark for myself. I wanted to continue to have that name as an enforcer, but also have that name being level-headed and a reputation of being a gentleman and a nice guy. And it's a hard mix to do. During some of those trials, tribulations, I'm also going to prison. And at one point, when I got hit with several RICO charges, I went on the run. And I think that was the final straw of my life in the mob. And it was a pill that I just finally learned I need to swallow, that this life isn't what I thought it was. And when I came home, I changed my life. And I became an advocate for the youth, communities. I'm able to give kids the insight and future of what their lives will be like if they continue on the path that I used to be on. I've seen and I heard of the game Grand Theft Auto, and I know a ton of kids that play it, and my friends' kids play it. It's fantasy. It'll be nice and pretty cool to watch and see.
Michael tell you about Life Invader?
Oh, y'all two did that?
Look forward. We're two strangers having a friendly chat.
These movies always do that. Don't look this way, don't look that way. By doing don't look this way, that way, you're more conspicuous. If you're just hanging out in the park and talking to each other, just sat at a bench, you're better off.
Mr. Greedy Lowry is staying at the Von Krastenberg Hotel in Richmond. Of course, he'll be well protected, but if he goes away, then America goes back to using Mollis, and Beta Pharmaceuticals gets a big bump in the price of their stock.
Damn, man, all right. I got you.
First off, sitting in one spot is the worst thing you do if you're talking about hitting somebody. So you wouldn't do it in one spot. You wouldn't sit in one spot. If anything taught us anything, sit in one spot. If that bench is wired up, that's it.
Keep your eye out for anything unusual. Let's see if we can get through one day without some wannabe.
Actually, with a sniper that's capable, I'm talking about somebody who's top sniper, that wasn't bad. I mean, just now recently in my country in Albania, they just hit somebody like that. He was going to his car on a regular basis, and the guy was up in a hotel. He was dressed like a woman, and he hit him. But, you know, if you're good and you're capable and you're professional, yeah, that's not a bad hit, right, actually. The hit itself was realistic if you got a good shooter.
They've rigged a jury to throw a class action lawsuit that would cover the treatment costs of thousands of emphysema sufferers. There are 4 corrupt jurors on Redwood's books.
Payphone and payphone, it's not that much of a problem back in the day. So as long as they're on 2 different payphones and those phones are clean and they're not in the areas. So if the hit's going to happen in Chicago, in a city, and that phone call's in Florida on 2, payphones from different areas, not a big deal. But if you're in the area and you're using those payphones on a regular basis, sure, they could be tapped.
I'll send you the details. Oh, and we only have a few hours to make them disappear.
Is that all, dog? That's quite a favor.
And that's quite a house you're living in.
The guy actually on the phone there is not bad, even in the wording they had for him. But the other guy stinks. The other guy, what he's saying is not realistic. It's stupid. He's just terribly casted for this video game. But it wouldn't happen that way, no. And you're not hitting 4 people, and it's not necessary. If you got a jury, you only need to hit one of them. If a juror gets killed, that case is getting shut down for a minute. They're not going to use an alternative. It's not like somebody just got sick. So there'll be an investigation. They'll get rid of every juror on that pool because of it. Exposure, they don't know who's been compromised. And that jury pool is gone anyway. So you don't need to hit all 4.
Oh, man. Get out. Today.
So the first one's completely ridiculous, insane. But these other ones really ain't that bad if you're really a good shooter. I mean, obviously, to have somebody on a scaffold like that, convenient for you. unless he had information the guy's cleaning windows in the whole building all night, then, you know, it's okay. And again, if you're an expert shooter, and the same when the guy's on a boat, because if you miss, it's over. Now, they know you're trying to hit them and they're going to go in the wind. At least they were done a little more discreetly, and the one on the bike, same.
So who the don't you like today?
Guy's called Isaac Penny, ruthless vulture capitalist, about to take a controlling interest in Vapid Motor Company and sell thousands of workers down the river. Penny's one of those tight-fisted billionaires, rides the same bus to and from work every day.
Again, if it's a professional hit, they will have the outlay of how he travels. So now you have a timeline, and you can conveniently pick where you want to get him. So that's, you know, actually doing some homework on the guy and get his schedule done back, which is important if you're going to do something like this.
Well, you're late.
Gotta be 150. Mr. Penny, ain't it?
Barely. Forget about it. Spendthrifts. Blame it on the city.
Oh, now you gonna run, huh, mother?
If he was the only customer on that bus for whatever crazy reason, even jab him with something, stop the bus, say there's something wrong, walk past him, jab him with something. Why would you go to the extent of getting him on a bus if you know he's getting to the bus and getting off that bus on a regular basis? Just hit him before or after, when he gets home in front of his front door. Far-fetched, obviously, and got to be for a very young kid to play that if that's what they're doing. I would never play it or waste my time with it. No, and not even for kids. It was a disaster.